You are going to die. I know for a fact that you are going to die. So, have you ever thought about death? It can be a pretty daunting thing if you think about it. If you want to put a quick definition to it, I guess you could say it's when you take that final breath and, everything's released. Go ahead, try it right now. That's what you need to do. You just need to breathe out all your air out of your lungs. Just exhale and hold it. Now imagine that you never take that breath in ever again. You start to get the feeling of what it means to die. So you might be asking, Greg, why in the world are you trying to scare the living daylights out of me? Well, I'm unintentionally trying to scare you. No, I'm trying to scare you. But not as a scare tactic, but as a thought-provoking tactic. We live our lives day to day, paycheck to paycheck, and we never really think that we have an end to this, that there's a final stop with these loops of days. Especially my generation, and at this time, people who are college age and young and successful and that kind of stuff, we're invincible, or at least we think so. We never even consider death as a possibility. Death comes up once in a while during funerals and, on the news. You have to, it's unavoidable, but yet we find a way to avoid it. What do you got, 70 years tops maybe, 100? It's not long from here to death. So why do we just try to avoid the thought of it completely? I think part of the reason is simply we're scared, and being that afraid of death, you'd never live. You hide in a closet all day trying to prevent yourself from dying or getting diseases, or you'll just go crazy in a sense. So I'm bringing up the subject because you are going to die. So are you afraid or are you not? Now, I know a lot of people out there are going to say, I'm not afraid of death. Now, that may be because they've encountered death a lot, or they've seen a lot of people die, or for some other reason. But I think the reasons for being courageous in that way might be the wrong reasons. Some people are not afraid of death because they really don't know what it is. They don't take into account its full definition, what it truly means. But then, of course, you have those who are afraid of death, which I would guess is the majority of people watching this video. So, what is death? What is it? Why should we be afraid of it? Well, some people are just afraid of dying just out of the fear of non-existing. People hide this fear of non-existing and call it living. They buy meds, they work out, they do all they can to live until they arrive safely at death. This is basically pulling the wool over your own eyes as you live. What I want to do is present death to you in this video so that it gets you thinking, why do we try to avoid death? If you're an atheist, well, death would be pretty depressing. It means you only have 100 some odd years, maybe less, to live, and that's it. If you were to keep contemplating death your entire life, you'd be pretty depressed as an atheist. Now, as a Christian, and if you're a Christian watching, what would your view on death be? Well, the whole grand narrative and what we have in Jesus Christ, we're probably the most fearless people when it comes to death. Or at least we should be. If you drop a piano right above my head, I am going to jump out of the way. Does it mean I'm scared of death? Not necessarily, but it does mean I'm afraid of pain. Now, pain is an unavoidable part of death. However, Christianity provides something that no other religion does. You see, on the cross, Jesus Christ, being fully man and fully God, took on the pain of death. However, even though he had two thieves right next to him dying the same exact death, he was dying a very different death. He was facing the wrath of God. However, after he died, and on the third day, he rose from the grave. Now, what does this mean? This means Christ has complete power over death. All those who follow him in that type of resurrection. So I may be afraid of pain, yes, but the death process I have no fears about. I have no fears because my Lord and the one I follow and trust in wholly for my salvation has conquered it for me. It's not something that will be done, it is something that has been done. Death then becomes a glorious celebration when you are separated from this dying world and you are brought into glorification with God. That's why funerals shouldn't be a sad thing, but they should be a celebration, and they should be pointing to the cross and resurrection of Christ. This is probably one of the most glorious things about Christianity. Not that we get to skip out on hell, but that Jesus Christ is the only one who rose from the grave. Muhammad, Buddha, anyone else you want to put in there, Darwin, they're still in the grave. But Jesus is the only one who climbed out. So, should you be afraid of death? You tell me. Personally, there are a lot of things worse than death, like eternal death. So that's all I have to say for now. If you have any comments, leave them. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. I don't even know what it does, but go ahead and do it. And have a blessed day.